Hi, Jay Gonzo here. Thanks for taking this time to consider my Kickstarter. And to all the fans who have supported me thus far at this project, thank you so much for your patience to get to this point, which is the trade paperback of Mano del Destino. Mano del Destino is a 6-issue limited series comic book written and drawn by me and published over the last several years. Now that all 6 issues are complete, I'm collecting them into a single trade paperback. This Kickstarter is to pay for the printing and distribution of that trade paperback. This trade paperback will collect all 6 issues as they originally ran in English, but will also contain all 6 issues translated into Spanish in a bilingual flipbook. Now, those of you unfamiliar with the flipbook format, let me take a minute to explain that to you now. So if you hold the book with the English cover facing you and open it up, you'll be on English page 1, and then English page 2, 3, etc. All 6 issues will be collected in English on this half of the book. Also, if you flip the book over, the Spanish cover will be facing you now. And when you open it up, you'll be on Spanish page 1, Spanish page 2, 3, etc. All 6 issues in Spanish will be collected on this half of the book. Now at some point the Spanish and English will come together and they will be opposite each other, but I will have a fair amount of bonus materials in between the two to act as a buffer. And as a bonus, if you have more than one copy, you can put the English and Spanish covers together to make one large image. So this trade paperback will have 172 pages of story in English, and then have 172 pages of the same story translated into Spanish, all in the same book. There will also be 24 pages of bonus material. Everything from what brought me to write the book, to how I chose the color palette, to how I literally set up my Photoshop files to make the comic look the way that it does. In addition to the bonus material, I also have 14 amazing artists doing pinups of my characters. So with the story pages in English and the story pages in Spanish and the bonus material, you get just over 400 pages of comic book in this collected edition. Also, let me say quickly, the comic is done. All 6 issues are printed. They exist. No time will be spent waiting for me to produce anything. This is simply to collect them all in a trade paperback edition. Mano del Destino tells the story of a once champion luchador who is betrayed by his friends and unmasked in the ring. He then makes a Faustian bargain with a mysterious promoter to gain a new identity, that of Mano del Destino, and a new power to exact his revenge on his betrayers. But like all good comic book bargains, we find out that there's strings attached. So he's trying to get out of his bargain, still get his revenge, and still remain the person he knows himself to be. All of this happens in a swanky, jet-age 1960s Mexico City, where lucha libre is the most important thing that happens in that world. Everything from politics to business gets settled by luchadors. They are like rock stars and politicians all rolled into one. I created Mano del Destino out of a dissatisfaction with the way the Latinx culture was portrayed in American pop culture, and specifically how Mexican culture and lucha libre was portrayed in American pop culture. It was always a punchline or a joke whenever showcased in American pop culture, and to me, luchadors are heroes. So I wanted to create a story in which the luchadors were heroic, where the wrestling was important, and it wasn't a wink and a nod and an ironic inclusion of luchadors in the story. Not only is lucha libre treated with respect in the story, it's the most respected thing in this world. I really wanted to heighten those stakes and make it of paramount importance within the story. I also wanted to include the bright, vibrant hues of Mexican culture within the comic book, and especially that of lucha libre, because whenever you see Mexico in an American movie, it's often sepia tone and brown and dirty looking, and absent are the bright, vibrant hues of my childhood. It was this adherence to authenticity of Latinx culture, of Mexican culture, and especially lucha libre, that led me to want the book to be in Spanish. And originally when I did the single issues, I wanted to do each of them in Spanish, but the direct market wouldn't support a Spanish language comic, which is why I'm kickstarting the book now. It was always important to me that the book exists in Spanish, but as I was self-publishing and financing the single issues myself, I was unable to do both an English and Spanish version, which is why with your help, we can get the bilingual version created here. It's also why my campaign is running the maximum 60 days to ensure I have the time to find that audience. I will be running my campaign through September and October, printing in the beginning of November, and shipping at the end of November, which means if you want one of these for a Christmas present, there will be time to get it. The story itself is set in the 1960s, so I wanted the art style and the printing process to look and feel and emulate the 1960s comic book. This means printing onto uncoated paper, which means that I can't do it digitally, I have to use offset lithography and turn an actual press on. I have used offset lithography for all of the single issues so that I could print them onto newsprint, but since this is a 400-page book and not 22-page comic, I just can't afford to do that on my own, which is why I'm here now. The goal will allow me to cover all of the fees associated with printing the book, from the press setup to the plate setup to the paper and the inks involved. The goal amount will also cover the shipping to anywhere within the United States. The goal amount covers the price to produce the book and the price to ship the book, and there's not a lot of wiggle room, which is why I'm not going to be able to ship it outside the United States. Now would be a good time for me to mention a couple of things I can't do. I'm not going to be able to ship this internationally. Just with the state of shipping anything in the world right now and the cost fluctuating the way it has, I just can't factor that into a budget and know that it's going to be okay. Also, because my margins are so thin on this, I'm not going to be able to offer any kind of discount to retailers or librarians or academics of any kind. I am offering several great reward tiers for those interested. Please take a moment to check them out below and see which one is right for you. Feel free to message me any questions. Follow me on social media here, and please share with anyone you know who might be interested in this comic. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.